Nestled between the vast plains of Mesopotamia and the towering peaks of the Zagros Mountains, Elam was a land of mystery and wonder. For centuries, it remained in the shadows of its more famous neighbors like Sumer, Akkad, and Babylon. Yet Elam's story is one of resilience, power, and cultural richness. Its location at the crossroads of ancient trade routes made it a vital player in the ancient Near East, and its legacy would continue to shape the region long after its fall. Elam's origins date back to the prehistoric era, but it was in the 3rd millennium BCE that this civilization truly began to flourish. With its capital at Susa, Elam became a center of culture, trade, and military power, interacting with and often clashing against the great empires of Mesopotamia. The early history of Elam is tied to its fertile lands. The lush valleys between the rivers Karun and Karkheh provided the perfect environment for the development of agriculture. By 6000 BCE, early farming communities had begun to settle in the region, laying the foundation for what would become the Elamite civilization. These early Elamites cultivated barley, wheat, and date palms, and they were skilled in irrigation techniques that allowed them to thrive in a land that could be both lush and harsh. Over time, small villages grew into larger towns, and trade routes began to form, connecting Elam with its neighbors. By the 3rd millennium BCE, Elam had grown into a network of city-states, each vying for control of the region. Susa, the most prominent of these cities, became the heart of Elamite power. Located at the intersection of major trade routes, Susa quickly grew into a prosperous city, known for its wealth and influence. Susa was not the only Elamite city of importance. Other city-states, such as Anshan and Madaktu, played crucial roles in the political and economic life of Elam. These cities were often in competition with each other, but they also worked together to resist the growing influence of the powerful Mesopotamian city-states to the west. Religion played a central role in Elamite society. The Elamites worshipped a pantheon of gods, many of whom were unique to their culture, while others were shared with neighboring Mesopotamians. The chief god of Elam was Inshushinak, the protector of Susa, who was often depicted as a powerful warrior god. Temples were the focal points of religious life in Elam, and the priesthood held significant power in both spiritual and political matters. The Elamites believed that their kings ruled by divine right, with the gods bestowing their favor upon the monarchs. This close connection between religion and kingship would shape Elamite society for centuries. The Old Elamite period, beginning around 2700 BCE, was a time of great transformation for Elam. The rise of powerful kings, such as Inshushinak, marked the beginning of a more centralized political system. These kings wielded immense authority, not only as military leaders but also as religious figures, believed to be chosen by the gods to rule. Under the leadership of these early kings, Elam expanded its territory and influence, often clashing with the city-states of Mesopotamia. The relationship between Elam and its western neighbors was one of both cooperation and conflict, as the Elamites sought to maintain their independence while also engaging in trade and diplomacy with the powerful Sumerians and Akkadians. The Elamites were known for their military prowess. Their armies were well organized and equipped with advanced weaponry, including bronze swords, spears, and bows. They were also skilled in the art of siege warfare, often using battering rams and other siege engines to breach the walls of enemy cities. Elamite kings like Inshushinak and Shutrukid were often depicted as mighty warriors, leading their troops into battle against the armies of Sumer, Akkad, and Babylon. Their military campaigns were not only a means of expanding Elam's territory, but also a way to assert their dominance over rival powers. The Middle Elamite period, which began around 1500 BCE, was a time of great cultural and artistic flourishing for Elam. Under the rule of the powerful Igehalkid and Shutrukid dynasties, Elam became a center of art, architecture and learning. The capital city of Susa was transformed into a magnificent metropolis, with grand palaces and temples adorned with intricate carvings and colorful glazed bricks. Elamite art was characterized by its attention to detail and its use of vibrant colors. The Elamites were skilled metalworkers, producing exquisite jewelry and weapons, often decorated with images of gods, animals, and mythical creatures. Their temples and palaces were not only places of worship and governance, but also showcases of their artistic achievements. Elam was not an isolated kingdom. Its strategic location at the crossroads of several major trade routes allowed it to establish diplomatic and economic relations with neighboring civilizations, including Mesopotamia, Egypt, and the Indus Valley. Elamite merchants traded goods such as textiles, pottery, and metals, while also importing luxury items like spices, precious stones, and exotic animals. Elam's relationship with Mesopotamia was particularly complex. While the two regions were often at war, they also engaged in significant cultural exchange. Elamite kings adopted many aspects of Mesopotamian administration and legal systems, while Elamite art and architecture influenced the cities of Sumer and Akkad. By the 7th century BCE, Elam had begun to weaken. Internal strife, combined with the growing power of Assyria, led to a decline in Elamite influence. In 647 BCE, the Assyrian king Ashurbanipal launched a devastating campaign against Elam, sacking the city of Susa and destroying much of the kingdom. The destruction of Susa marked the end of Elam as a major political power. While small remnants of the Elamite civilization continued to exist, the kingdom would never again rise to its former glory. The Assyrians left Susa in ruins, and the once great city became little more than a memory. Although Elam's political power had faded, its cultural legacy lived on. The Persians, who would go on to establish one of the greatest empires in history, absorbed many aspects of Elamite culture. The city of Susa, once the heart of Elam, became a key administrative center for the Persian Empire. Elamite language and administrative practices were adopted by the Persians, and Elamite artisans continued to work in the service of Persian kings. Today, the legacy of Elam can be seen in the ruins of ancient Persia and in the artifacts uncovered by modern archaeologists. The Elamites may have been overshadowed by their more famous neighbors, but their contributions to the development of civilization in the ancient Near East cannot be denied. The echoes of Elam continue to resonate through history, reminding us of the enduring impact of this forgotten kingdom. The Elamite civilization rose and fell over the course of millennia, leaving behind a rich and complex legacy. From their early days as farmers in the Zagros Mountains to their final days under the shadow of the Assyrian Empire, the Elamites played a crucial role in shaping the history of the ancient Near East. Their achievements in art, architecture, religion, and governance influenced the civilizations that followed, and their story continues to captivate us today. As we uncover more about the Elamite civilization, we gain a deeper understanding of the complex web of cultures that existed in the ancient world. Elam's final destination may have been destruction, but its influence has survived the test of time. The echoes of Elam continue to shape our understanding of the past, and through them, we can glimpse the vibrant and powerful civilization that once thrived in the shadow of the Zagros Mountains.